Welcome to Any Connector Audio Insights, where operations meet intelligence. This is Olivia Bennett. Today, we're diving into something that sits quietly behind every modern system, but can break everything if it's not handled right. Secure API integrations, and why protecting your connections is just as important as building them. Let's get started. APIs are the quiet infrastructure behind modern business. They move employee data from HR to payroll, push sales into analytics, sync inventory across channels, and trigger workflows that teams rely on every day. When these connections are secure, the business runs with confidence. But when they're not, a single weak endpoint can expose sensitive data, disrupt operations, or create compliance risks, often before anyone even notices. It's easy to think of APIs as just plumbing, necessary, but not strategic. But in reality, APIs are how modern enterprises turn software into an operating model. They enable automation, reduce handoffs, and provide the real-time visibility leaders depend on. But there's a trade-off. Every new integration increases capability and exposure. And as organizations grow, security becomes harder. Because most enterprises don't run a single system. They run an ecosystem: ERP, HR, finance, analytics, customer applications, all constantly exchanging data through APIs. And over time, complexity builds quietly. Credentials accumulate, mappings evolve, schedules expand, and risk grows in small, unnoticed ways. A misconfigured endpoint, an outdated token, a deprecated integration no one is monitoring. This is where API security stops being a one-time setup and becomes a life cycle. Discovery, access control, encryption, monitoring, governance, all continuously managed as systems evolve. But here's the biggest risk of all. Not a breach, not an attack, but something much quieter: drift. Settings change, vendors update, teams rotate, and an integration that was secure last quarter becomes fragile this quarter. Because a certificate expired, a logging rule was disabled, or a new workflow bypasses review, and the signals are often subtle. Teams rely on spreadsheets to validate reports. Exceptions start feeling normal. No one can clearly answer, which systems can call this API? That's when security and reliability are already slipping. So what does secure by design actually look like? It's not about locking everything down. It's about making access intentional, data protected, and behavior visible. At a practical level, 4 things matter most: identity and access, strong authentication, least privilege authorization, controlled credential rotation. Encryption, protecting data in transit with TLS. Observability, centralized logging, alerting, and anomaly detection. And governance, clear standards for how integrations are created, approved, versioned, and retired. Now here's where architecture comes in. Point-to-point integrations might feel fast at first, but as systems grow, every new connection adds complexity. Every change creates ripple effects, and security becomes harder to enforce consistently. A platform-led integration approach changed that. Instead of managing dozens of one-off connections, you create a centralized integration layer where policies are consistent, monitoring is unified, and governance is applied across every connection. This is exactly where any connector fits. It centralizes how APIs are managed and monitored. So instead of redefining security for every new integration, you standardize governance, improve visibility, and reduce operational risk across the board. And as your business grows, that consistency becomes your advantage. Because the goal isn't just to connect systems, it's to connect them in a way that keeps data trustworthy, operations stable, and decisions reliable. Zooming out, this isn't just about security, it's about trust. When payroll runs cleanly, reports align, and customer data stays protected, teams move faster because they're not fixing, not validating, not recovering, they're executing. And that's the real takeaway. Secure API integrations don't just protect systems, they protect confidence. So if your organization is growing, adding tools, expanding operations, modernizing workflows. Now is the time to treat API security as part of your integration foundation. Because the best time to design for governance and monitoring is before complexity makes it urgent. If you're looking to reduce integration risk without slowing down innovation, it starts with a centralized approach. With any connector, you can apply consistent security, monitoring, and governance across every integration, while keeping your systems aligned and your operations moving forward. Thanks for listening to Any Connector Audio Insights. Stay sharp, stay ahead. I'll see you in the next one. This is your host, Olivia Bennett.